was going to say, it seems like you maybe could be facing Travis St. and connecting in Four Nations. What would that experience be like for you? And it seemed like you guys enjoyed maybe giving them the word today.
Did you guys get the information? I haven't got any information.
How much has having a healthy Risto helped what you're doing on trying to do on defense there?
So it's something we talked about at the beginning of the year. Enough of the 35, 40, 50 games. We need them for a full year. I think our medical people have done a really good job in keeping him healthy. Has some bumps along the way. It's really important. He pisses you off because he just gets going, and then something's wrong. So knock on wood, that he remains that way because he's really improved his play.
You've obviously, when Sam went out, it was a little bit of a monkey wrench, I'm sure. Did you guys focus? Did you have a discussion and with the group about playing better defense in front of two guys that just weren't very
We had a
experienced?
discussion of playing better, more aggressive that way. That's the way I think we're trying to play defense. That's the style of game we're trying to play. So we want to check forward even more. I know what you're getting to without losing your starting goalie, but we went the other way with it. We want to try to get out of our end zone and stay out of our end zone as best we can. So under the same premise of why we have a conversation, but a different, even more aggressive style. And as we found out here, our two goalies have done a pretty damn good job for us.
Going back to Risto for a second, that pair, the Andre Ristolainen pair, are you as coaches, and I guess this is you and Bradshaw, starting to maybe look at that pair, in a similar way to how you guys started to look at the Sealer-Walker pairing last year as that stabilizing second pair?
Yeah, not so much with Seals and Walks, but is it a pair that we'll keep together? I think we're always looking to stabilize that. Andre, he's kind of forced himself onto the scene here. And when we weren't looking to give Andre 9-10 minutes ice time as we were banged up on the blue line, as he started making plays towards the style of game we want to play, he forced his way in. So we've been comfortable with it. Sometimes we look at what's going on with the other pairs. Do you have to pay Peter to take it away from and pay Paul? It's all within the six of those guys how we can balance it, and depending on what team we're playing against too. So I don't look at it as Walks and Seals. I just look at it as trying to get six good, the three pairs, six good defensemen playing with steadiness, and he's added that to us.
But I guess, how important, because you guys obviously over the last couple of weeks especially have been playing, I would say, probably your best hockey of the year. How much of a factor has it been having, that top four that you can rely upon rather than maybe just having the one pair, which you had maybe at the start of the year?
Yeah, because teams we've played against a lot of good teams along the way that are pretty balanced in their lineup. It has helped. It's funny how it works. When Yorkie went out, I was very nervous what was going to go on, and then it just gives other players opportunities to come in and to have four guys and then maybe a swing unit as you go through. Really important as you play so many games, and the way our schedule has been, it's been hectic. So it's helped us. The thing I like about that pair, it's not really defense. I love the way they've stood up. They're up the ice. The way we're trying to play, if we don't do it in fives, if we don't press in fives, there's a gap, right? If our three forwards are pressing and our D don't get up, I think they're one of the better pairs in doing that. I think Emil has the mindset. He loves it. He's going to go. And Risto has really improved his game, and I've said it all along, just because of his legs. He's skating with the puck and skating without it.
The other day when you talked about Kim Dillabaugh, you said he deserves a lot of credit for being a goalie coach in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And there's obviously a lot of history with struggles in net.
Graveyard.
Now you have potentially three goalies in the rotation with Sam coming back today for practice. How is it almost like this is too good to be true to have three guys that potentially could go into net at any point?
Yeah, we got to keep evaluating. That position isn't a 10, 15, 20 game type situation, you think we've got it figured out. That's a process of trying to figure out what your tandem's going to be. It's not ideal to have 3 around all the time. I think eventually we're going to have to figure this out, depending on health, right? Depending on if Sam comes back. Sam is our number 1 guy. We've got to figure out what happens after that as we push through here. I think Coley and Feds have really stepped in, and where it was worrisome when we lost Sam. But we still need to see more as we play more and more games along the way here to really judge what a goalie is.
How promising is it to see Ivan from what he started? You even said yourself like he wasn't playing well, to see him now doing what he does. And I spoke with Keith Jones the other day, and he said, he's looking more like the goalie that was before he had to miss the year of hockey.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. That bottom line for me. I'm happy for him because he was bad, and he didn't feel good about it. This is a team sport, and we've got. It's one thing about our game. We got some great athletes in our game, and they care about their teammates. But I look at Feds, and I look at all the time he put into the summer. He was here all summer long doing his work, getting ready for the season, and it did not start off right. I'm really happy that he's handled it. He's just hung in there, didn't make any excuses, kept his head down, worked at his game, and has found a way. To me, it was competing. He is just competing harder. And when you see athletes get put into a spot where the spotlight's kind of on you for the wrong reason, to answer the proper way, I'm thrilled for him. I hope he keeps growing.
You talked a lot about how Sam's mental game is one of the strongest you've seen. Is he on par with that maybe then?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's on par with Sam's game because I haven't seen him enough. I just haven't been around Feds enough. I've watched Sam. I've watched some of the spots I've put Sam in, and him answer it. So, all this stuff with the injuries, the goalie, our number 1 guy gone, and it gives us an idea of what we have, and that's a big part of this year, and quite honestly, next, because there's no free agents coming, and we have to keep on evaluating what we have in the organization. I think I learn lessons, daily. Is you don't give up on people because they struggled, and you don't say, okay, you give them the house because they played well for a few games. You've got to go through the process of this. If you do it the proper way, you got to go through the whole process, and then I think you'll come to you'll settle in as far as what the guy is.
You're still evaluating Sam too, right? Are you
Absolutely.
excited to see the way that he's missed a little bit of time? He just told us he's kind of approaching it as like it's another challenge for him personally to come in. Are you kind of looking to see how he responds?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's still evaluating Sam. I mean, he hasn't been a number 1 goalie. He's been banged up, and he hasn't played a season where he played 55, 58, 60 games. We haven't seen that from any of them.
What impressed you about Helge Grans? He seemed like he was pretty poised for you.
Yeah, he just played, wasn't afraid of the moment. Had ups and downs at certain times, which we expect. Emil has too. But you watch them after they have a down play or a down shift, and that's what I watch to see how they handle it. Didn't affect him. Played a lot of good minutes. Really interesting to us. Big, long, right-handed shot defenseman. You always have time to take a look there, and he wasn't tearing it up in the American League, which that position defensemen just never do. You never know what you have with a defenseman judging on American League play. You just have to see him in the National Hockey League to really make a true judgment. And again, he's played really well, but still, it's just such a small sample size. We got to keep evaluating.
You've gone to overtime a lot this season, 8 of the last 12 games. I'm just curious, as a coach, as you guys evaluate, is that ever on your radar of maybe we're living too close to the edge?
No.
Or you guys just happy you're in games and you're actually coming through in a lot of these?
We're competing along the way, and we've found a way to win some this year. I think what's today? Monday, so Wednesday we practice. We're going to do some work on 3-on-3 because we have no clue without the puck, none. And it went. We started working on that early in the year. Remember last year, we'd get scored on right away, and I think we needed to defend the proper way. We worked on it, this year was doing pretty well with it, but the past few times, my gosh. I mean, we score the other night, but we have no clue what's coming at us when Thomas basically almost walks in for a breakaway through three of us. TK makes a great play and somehow gets the puck going the other way. We still have to learn how to play 3-on-3. And yeah, so we're going to work on that Wednesday.
Do any teams know how to play that?
You know what? It's a
Guys
great
all over the
question. We were
place,
talking.
like,
Talking about today. Like Mish doesn't know. He just doesn't know. He doesn't. And the kid's trying. But I watch other teams, and I'm wondering what the other coaches are thinking when I watch it on TV. I love watching 3-on-3. I think it's unbelievable why we don't get rid of the shootout. I don't. TV time. I don't know what's been told to me, but I think it's one of the best things that happened to the game. And because you can't play it out even strength, right? You just can't do it. But the 3-on-3 is fantastic. I watch other teams play, and I wonder if they're saying the same thing I'm saying on the benches, you know, when their shit's going on with their top players. It's shinny. And as coaches, like Mish, he's fantastic at scoring the goals, but I got to figure out a way. TK's the same way. He's an idiot too as far as defending. But I've got to let them be themselves, but we've got to figure out some way to make sure we're also defending just a little bit. You know, that's what you have to ask these athletes now, just a little bit, please, and without affecting what they're good at. And that's the fine line we have to, at least the way I feel about it. I'm not sure how the other coaches feel, because it's a gong show.
Speaking about Joel Farabee, as a coach, how do you handle a situation like this where you have a guy who everyone can see how many scoring chances he's creating, how much he's involved, but he just can't seem to break through? How, as a coach, do you handle a situation like that?
I don't say a word to him. I keep putting him in the spots. Joel doesn't need me to coach him. You know, you're gripping your stick too tight. All the language we use, right? Joel knows where he's at, and I think he's played very well. I'm going to keep on putting him in the spots, and hopefully something will break from him. I'm not going to talk to him.